Okay, so today we're doing the elimination method, but this time we're going to have to multiply first. So if you look at the first example, 6x and 2x will never eliminate, and 5y and 3y will never eliminate. So what we're going to have to do is multiply one of the equations or both of the equations by a number that will eliminate the x's or the y's. So you get to choose which one you want to do. I would choose the x's because what could I multiply this entire equation by? -3. That would turn it into something that could be eliminated with the 6x. So you're basically trying to make their coefficients the same, except one negative and one positive. So does everybody understand what we just did?
Yes.
So what's going to happen now is I'm now going to have 6x plus 5y equals 19. I didn't do anything to the top equation. But the bottom equation, by multiplying by -3, will make the first term a -6x, which will allow me to eliminate the x's. Yes? -3 times +3 is -9y. And -3 times 5 is -15. Now I have set these up to solve by elimination. Could I have chosen to multiply by something that would change the y's to the same number?
Yes.
Yes, but choosing the x was easier because I only had to do one equation. All right, let's go solve it. The 6's are going to cancel out, so the x's have been eliminated. 5 plus -9 is -4y, and 19 minus 15 is 4. And then I divide by -4, and I get y equals -1. Now, you can choose any equation to plug back into. So you can choose this one, you can choose this original one, or you could choose your modified one that's an equivalent one. You're going to get the same answer, so just pick one. I'll go ahead and just pick the top one since we didn't modify it. So I'm going to do 6x plus 5 times -1. Y'all agree that that's -5. So -5 equals 19. And then I'm going to plus 5. So I get 6x equals 24. And then I'm going to divide by 6, and I'm going to get x equals 4. So my answer is 4, -1. Not too bad? Okay, look at the next equation. I have two options. I need the x's to either be the same or the y's. Yes? So how can I make the x's the same? Multiply the top one by 2, but I would need it to be a -2 so that they would be opposites. Could I also multiply the top one by -11?
Yes.
Doesn't matter which way you do it.
No.
No, I always go with the smallest number that would work. So I'm going to choose to multiply the top equation by -2 so that I will have a 4x and a -4x that will eliminate. Does anybody have a question on what I'm doing or why I'm doing it? We're okay? All right, so -2 times 2x is -4x. -2 times y is -2y. And -2 times -9 is +18. And then on the bottom, I keep it the same. So I have 4x plus 11y, that's an 11, equals 9. Okay, this is going to eliminate. And -2 plus 11 is 9y. And 18 plus 9 is 27. And then I'm going to get rid of the coefficient by division. I'm going to divide by 9. And I get y equals 3. Okay, and now I'm going to plug the 3 back in. You pick whichever equation you want to. Can you use the original one from here? Yes. Can you use the modified one from here? Yes, it doesn't matter which one you choose. I'm just going to use the original one. So I have 2x plus y, which y is 3, so plus 3 equals negative 9. And then I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So I have 2x equals, and negative 9 minus 3 is negative 12. And then divide by 2, and I get x equals negative 6. So my answer is negative 6, comma, 3. Okay, any questions? All right, so go to this one. What's the first thing I'm going to do here before I can even multiply? I'm going to have to rearrange this equation. So I'm going to have to move the 3x to the left by doing subtraction. So I have negative 3x plus 2y equals negative 9. And I'm just going to mark that out because all I did was rearrange it. Now, I am going to have to choose whether I want to eliminate the x's or the y's. Both of them can be turned into another number, but I can't turn a 3 into a 4 by multiplying. Do y'all agree? And I can't turn a 4 into a 3 by multiplying. But I do know that if I multiply 4 by 3, I get 12, and if I multiply 3 by 4, I get 12. So could I multiply both equations to make equivalent equations? Yes. Are y'all with me on that? Could I also change the y's to 10s? Could 5 be multiplied to get to 10? Yes. Can 2 be multiplied to get to 10? Yes. You have to pick in this case which variable you want to eliminate. So what do y'all want to do, the x or the y? The x. So if I'm going to eliminate the x's, I need to make them the same number. So I'm going to make them into 12s because that's their least common multiple. Yes? All right, so I'm going to multiply the top fraction by 3, and I'm going to multiply the bottom fraction by, the bottom equation by 4. So y'all go do that real quick and then see if you can do it on your own. Check your equations with mine before you solve. So check these two equations and make sure that you set up your equivalent equations correctly. Okay, this is going to eliminate. Did everybody get y equals 3? Okay, then you pick an equation to plug it back into. It does not matter which one you pick. You can literally pick this original equation right here. It does not matter. I'm going to go with the top one, though. So I have 4 times x plus 5 times y, which y'all agree is 15, yes? Equals 35. What is that, 20? y'all get 5, 3?
Yes.
Are y'all feeling okay about these? Okay, let's go to the next one. What is the first thing that I'm going to need to do on this one? Rearrange this bottom one. So I'm going to need to bring the negative 7x to the left by adding. So I'm going to have 7x plus 4y equals negative 8. And then we're going to have to decide, do we want to eliminate the x's or the y's? So you ask yourself, which one's easier for you? What's the least common multiple for 2 and 7? 14. So I'd have to turn those into 14s, where the 3 and the 4 I can turn it into 12. Doesn't matter which way you do it. No. So y'all pick and we'll all do it the same. What do y'all want to do? You want to do the y's? Okay, so we're going to multiply the top one. I've got to get this number to negative 12. So what am I going to multiply by? 4. Okay, for the bottom one, I got to get this one to positive 12. So what am I going to multiply by? 3. All right, so I have 8x minus 12y equals, and 4 times 6 is 24. Just please, please, please don't forget that you have to multiply the entire equation by that number. 3 times 7 is 21x. 3 times 4 is positive 12y. And 3 times negative 8 is negative 24. Are we okay? All right, so now I go solve. 8 plus 21 is 29x. These cancel, eliminate. 24 plus negative 24 is 0. Don't forget that you can write 0. You have to have something on the left side and the right side, yes? So that is just a 0. I divide by 29, and what is 0 divided by 29? 0. So the value of x is 0. Can you have an x that's a 0? Absolutely. Now we plug 0 back into an equation to solve for the y. So I'm just going to plug it back into this one right here. 7 times 0 is 0. So I have 4y equals negative 8. Y'all agree that that was 0 over here, right? I divide by 4, and I get y is equal to negative 2. So what can I think? My coordinate is 0, negative 2. Are y'all good with those 4 examples? We're going to do some more on the back, but with word problems. Okay, flip to the back. Let's go set up a word problem. All right, here we go. A sports equipment store is having a sale on soccer balls. A soccer coach purchases 10 balls and 2 bags for $155. Another coach goes to the exact same store and purchases 12 balls and 3 bags for $189. Find the cost of the balls and the bags. How would I set this up? So we're going to make an equation for both soccer coaches, yes? Because they went to the same store. We're going to have to decide, though, what do we want to be our x? Let's have our balls be our x and our bags be our y's. All right, so I just heard you make the equation, so say it out loud for me for the first one. Perfect. 10x plus 2y equals $155. How did he know that? Because he bought 10 balls for a certain price. We're looking for the price, yes? He bought 2 bags for a certain price, but his total was $155. So now we're going to write an equation for the other coach. So somebody else write that one for me. Good. And I am solving for the value of x, which is the cost per ball, and the value of y, which is the cost per bag. Which term do y'all think would be easiest to eliminate? The y's, because I can turn them both into a 6. So I'm going to multiply both equations to get one of these as a negative 6 and one of them as a positive 6. So to get this one as a 6, I'm going to multiply by 3. And to get this one as a 6, I'm going to multiply by 2. But I need one of them to be negative, so just pick somebody. The top? The 2? Okay, the 2. Did it matter which one? No. All right, so I have 30x plus 6y equals, and 155 times 3 is 465. And then negative 2 times 12 is negative 24x minus 6y. And negative 2 times 189 is negative 378. $30 minus 24 is 6x. This is going to eliminate. And 465 minus 378 is positive 87. And I'm going to divide by 6, which is $14.50. So what does this represent? Who can tell me? The cost per soccer ball. So over here I would just say the soccer balls cost $14.50. That's a 1 right there. I also need to find the cost of the soccer bags. Let me fix that because that is going to bother me. Okay, so I'm going to plug this in for x. Pick whichever equation you want. So I have 10 times this, so I just move the decimal over one place, which is 145x plus 2y equals 155. Oh, I didn't mean 145x. I already put the x in. Sorry. So 145. I'm going to subtract, which just is 5. Which is 10, and then I'm going to divide and get 5. So how much does a bag cost? $5. Now, this next problem is actually from a STAR test. It's exactly what we just did, but they don't ask you to solve it. They're just asking which one is set up correctly. Okay? So let's read the question. It says, Mr. Alvarado bought a total of 20 pounds of grass seed at a nursery for $168. He paid $9 for bluegrass, and that's a typo right there. That should say $6 for fescue grass. So put a little 6 right there. Which system of equations could be used to solve for x, which is bluegrass, and y, which is tall fescue grass? So the first thing we need to do is set it up ourselves and see which one is set up correctly. One of them is for the total amount they bought, and one of them is for money. So how would I write an equation for the total amount of pounds they bought? X plus y equals 20. So is A set up correctly for that? No. Is B set up correctly for that? So this one's good. Is C set up correctly for x plus y equals 20?
No.
Is D? Yes. The next equation is going to be for the money. So the cost of the bluegrass plus the cost of the, what's the other one? Fescue grass is going to equal the cost, which is $168. Well, both of them say $168, so they're good there. One of them costs $6 per pound and one of them costs $9. Did they both use those?
Yes.
So how do I know which one's right? Did they? They told me which one has to be the X. And what did they say? It said, let X be bluegrass. So how much does bluegrass cost? So the 9 has to go with the X because they said so. So the answer was D. Okay, I'm going to give you a minute to set up the last two. You don't have to solve them. Let's just make sure you're setting them up correctly, and then we'll check them. All right, let's make sure you set up correctly. You should have had 2 times x plus 3 times y equals 13, and x plus y equals 7. Yes or no?
Yes.
The bottom one, you should have had 4x minus twice the other number, so minus 2y equals negative 16. And then the bottom one, the sum of them is negative 1, so x plus y equals negative 1. And then you would multiply and then set it up. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, let me pass. Make sure your name's on your paper. On 1 through 3, you are going to match the linear system with an equivalent system, meaning which ones would be set up that are equivalent equations. So like if I multiplied by number 1 by something and turned it into something to eliminate, which ones would be equivalent? Do y'all agree that I could multiply the top equation by 4 and then I could eliminate the y's? Yes or no? Because 2 times 4 is? Negative 8. And so these would be eliminated. So which one would have something equivalent? That's how you're going to answer those, okay? All right, go to 4 through 9. You better answer these exactly how it says. So I'm going to do one with you so you know what to do. It says, describe the first step. Did it say do the first step?
No.
Describe it. So on number 4, what would your first step be so that you could eliminate? Somebody. Oh. Multiply. Okay, so you could either multiply by negative 3. That is absolutely correct. Is there anything else you could multiply by? Positive 7. Would I take both answers?
Yes.
Yes. So let's say you chose negative 3. Then your answer would say multiply by negative 3. That is how you describe the first step. Now, if you chose to write multiply by 7, I'm going to count it correct as well because both of those answers are correct. Okay? All right, on 10 through the back, 21, you're just going to solve them exactly how we did on our notes, but I'm going to take off 19 through 21 just to shorten the assignment. You're going to do 22, and then you don't have to do 23. All right, you may start.